are 2-0. It was a big week last week for the Rebels. But before I get started, I'd like to welcome my guest, Ole Miss senior Lane Ballou. Lane, how's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
So as I said before, the Rebels are 2-0. Just want to throw out some crazy stats that I have come up with. The Rebels are 2-0 when Breann Tyree scores the first basket of the game. And the Rebels are also 2-0 when freshman Devontae Shuler scores more than 10 points. So keep an eye out on that. But anyway, so I'm going to get into this first game. The Rebels played the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns from the Sun Belt Conference, winning 94-76. The leading scorers for the game were Terrence Davis with 21 for the Ole Miss Rebels, and for the Raging Cajuns, don't know his first name, last name Stove, it doesn't matter, they lost, so he had 16. But I'm just going to go ahead and get started with the Rebels. Whose performance stood out the most to you, Lane?
Definitely KG's. After last year, watching him play for a full year, and then just seeing the work that he did this summer and coming out and having an open night performance like that was really impressive to me and shows how far he's come.
Yeah, he had a double-double. I remember talking to DeAndre about the exhibition game. You know, KG had a double-double in that game as well. And I remember saying to Dre that, you know, losing Saeed, somebody who always was averaging a double-double last year, and having KG kind of step up into that role in that exhibition game was a promising look. And then in this first game, you know, playing as well as he did, I mean, he's actually helped the Rebels. They're fourth in the NCAA in offensive rebounding and then first in the SEC, which is big time, especially for us. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Hyman played a fantastic game. Usual suspects, TD, like I said, with 21, DeAndre Burnett with 17. We'll get to them, but I want to touch on freshman guard Devontae Shuler. First college game, goes 5 for 7 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, has 3 assists, 2 turnovers, which he can work on, but also had 2 rebounds. So talk to me about how you thought Shuler looked and, you know, him being a freshman, just getting the jitters out of the way and everything.
What's been most impressive to me about Shu is how he's been fearless ever since he came in, and then it's carried over to when we came into the regular season here. You know, a lot of guys, they come into their first game, you know, we had a big crowd playing Louisiana Lafayette home opener, and he comes in and lets it go. He doesn't care. He's letting it go. He's got a lot of confidence in himself, and we've got a lot of confidence in him. So really him just being fearless and being able to step up in that moment and give us a big spark off the bench was just impressive overall to me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. 4 for 6 from 3. There were a few shots that he took in that game. I was just like, dang, and then they went in. But, I mean, that's the way it was in the exhibition game. I remember bringing that up in the first episode. So, and he definitely continued over in the second game, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But DeAndre Burnett, senior, 6 for 9 from the field, 5 for 6 from free throw, had 17 points, 3 assists. So Dre came off the bench in this game just as he did in the exhibition. And I remember talking to him a little bit about this just outside the podcast. It's about, you know, going into that role, him being a senior, basically saying that he wanted to help the team out in any way he could and just being mature about it. And talking to him after these first 2 games about this role that he's kind of gotten himself into, he seems to be happy and he seems to think that he can thrive in this role. And obviously his stats show that. What did you like about DeAndre's performance in this first game?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that Dre's a winner and he'll do whatever it takes for the team to win. Him taking a step back and doing what's best for the team shows his maturity and commitment to the team. But overall, after watching Dre play for a full season last year and then seeing him this year, to me it just looked like he was more composed out there. He was more poised. He was relaxed. You could tell he felt good. He was shooting the ball well. I mean, he always has been a gym rat. He's a guy that puts in a lot of work in the off season, and it shows up. I mean, when the lights come on, Dre comes to play.
No doubt. So the next guy I want to talk about is Eustace Fermanopoulos. 10 minutes in this game, but he had 3 blocks. Big defensive presence. As I talked about in the first episode, he's a big energy guy, and I thought he brought a lot of energy in this first game.
Definitely. I mean, Eustace low minutes in this game, but that's due to KG. You know, he played 32 minutes, has a career game, and that's really the reason that Eustace wasn't playing the normal minutes that he was. I mean, that's kind of how basketball goes. The guy stepping up, having a night like that, you kind of got to step back and just cheer him on. But Eustace had a really productive 10 minutes. I mean, he had 3 blocks, but he altered a lot more shots. You know what I mean? Stuff that doesn't show up on a stat sheet. Eustace's energy has never been a question. I mean, he's always, every day he comes in and works, gives energy. I mean, that's kind of what he's known for and made a reputation for himself as. So I wouldn't expect anything less from Eustace.
Right. And Bruce Stevens is another guy that, is a big body that we have down there. Played 16 minutes, 4 for 9 from the field, 3 offensive rebounds, 6 defensive rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 9 points. I was really impressed with the way Bruce played. In 16 minutes to have that stat line, that's pretty impressive. Definitely had physical presence in the game. I was excited for Bruce coming in. I'd heard a lot about him. Didn't really get to watch him that much last year, but just a lot of good things about him. What did you see from Bruce in this game that you think will be consistently done with him through the season?
Well, I mean, a thing that Bruce does really well that he didn't even hit any in this game, didn't attempt any, but he's a great shooter. There's always going to be a transition period when guys come from JUCO to this level or high school to this level, and so I kind of expect Bruce to step into that role slowly and get his feel for the game and find out what his role for this team will be. But I think overall he had a good first game, productive minutes. I mean, he's still learning what Coach Kennedy wants and how we want to play and what we need from him on a nightly basis. But overall, that's a great game, man. 9 points, 9 rebounds for your home opener. He got 3 offensive rebounds, which is great. And just being able to be an anchor down there, and him and KG, Dom, and Eustace kind of making a collective effort to make up for what we lost last year in Southeast.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely got a lot of rebounds this game. Bruce, like you mentioned, almost had a double-double in his first game, so that's definitely good to see. So I want to talk about this starting 5 a little bit. We touched on KG already, but let's talk about Breein Tyree. This is his first year coming off, being fully healthy finally. He plays 19 minutes, 40% from the field, which is not bad whatsoever. 0 for 4 from 3, which, hurt him a little bit, but, that's going to come with the flow of the game. But I was just really impressed with him from a point guard standpoint. I thought he, ran the point really well. 10 points, 3 steals, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. I know you got to basically go up against Bree a lot this summer. What have you seen him do better in the 2 years that you've been here with him? And then what did you see in this game that reflected how hard he's worked at practice?
Well, overall last year, was really impressive to me about Bree was that he basically didn't do anything in preseason because he's trying to rehab from his injury. He comes back in and kind of just gets thrown in the middle of the season and then really does well to me to finish off his freshman year. So really this summer, he developed his game in all areas. Overall, Bree's just it comes with time, but he's been in big games. He's been a player in big games. He's kind of been around the block now. And so we expect him to kind of be an anchor there at the point guard spot and, just develop his decision-making and kind of being that guy for us.
Yeah, I thought that he shot the ball really well. I think he takes a lot of smart basketball shots. Some of them, just unlucky bounces and whatnot. But, yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. The next guy is another newcomer, Markel Crawford, who played 31 minutes in this game and almost had a double-double himself, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. And, so Markel, big-time transfer, I think, from Memphis, played a big part in that team last year, had a big game on the road against Oklahoma last year, so coming into this season, having him was huge. There was a lot of stuff going on before this game. We weren't sure if he was going to play, but turned out everything was fine, so he was able to play, and I thought he, although he didn't shoot as well as I think he wanted to, I thought he played really good team basketball. What kind of player do you think Markel is going to be for this team, and what did you see from his performance last Friday that gives you a bright spot for the rest of the year?
To me, Markel needs to be kind of a glue guy for our team, and what I mean by that is he's been in a lot of games, he's played in a lot of games, he's been at Memphis, he transferred here, he's a 4th-year guy, so he's been around the block. He's played a lot of teams, so he knows what it takes to win big games, and to me, he needs to be a glue guy as far as being vocal, helping out these younger guys that are new in the system, and just being a leader and a guy that people can lean on in tough situations. So I'm not worried about Markel shooting. That stuff will come. I see him make shots every single day, so not worried about that at all. To me, Markel just needs to defend and be a leader for this team, and that's where he'll help us the most, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. The next guy I want to talk about is Big Dom. This was his first game after having to sit out last year. 4 rebounds, 2 points, 1 block. So the thing I observed with Dom in the exhibition game and in this game is, he's still got a little ways to go. He's, still kind of new to this game and everything, but I definitely saw bright spots. So a lot of people, obviously with Sebastian Saiz being here, a lot of people were curious as if he could step into that role. And I think that AK said something really important in the offseason is we don't need him to be Sebastian Saiz. We just need him to rebound the ball and have a defensive presence. And I think he did that Friday night. I think, with him getting some more games under his belt, he'll look a little more comfortable out there. But from this game standpoint, what do you think that Dom did really well, and what do you think he needs to improve on a little bit the rest of the way?
Kind of what I said about Bruce, there's going to be a transition period. Dom sat out a complete year without playing. So that's always tough to come back from. So he's going to have to take some time, and it'll take time to get comfortable with the game and get in the flow and understanding what his role is. So, I've seen Dom be the player that we need him to be daily, so I'm not worried about him. I just hope that he comes on gradually, and, in March we'll be where we want to be.
Yeah, I agree. So the last guy that I want to touch on, and we all know what this guy can do. So Terrence Davis, 21 points, led the team in scoring, had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, great stat line, shot the ball fairly well. Nothing really new for us to say here. I thought he had a good game. A couple of shots didn't go in. That's gonna happen. Shot 7 for 10 from free throws. I'll get to free throws as a team here in a second, but TD's just. I think TD's going to be consistent this year. I think he finally got it down pat towards the end of last year. Is there anything in particular you want to say about TD from this game?
No, not really. He kind of carries over right from last year, pick up where he left off. But TD's going to be a good high scorer for us this year, and he has a crucial role in our team, and he has to bring it nightly for the Rebels to be successful.
Right. So I want to talk about the free throws real quick. 21 for 31 from the field. I think at halftime we were 8 for 16 from free throw. I know last year we led the NCAA in free throw attempts, if I'm not mistaken. And then we had 2 guys last year, DeAndre Burnett and Cole Neal, who shot the free throw 90% or above. Do you think that this was just kind of a fluke, or do you think this is an area that we need to work on a little more, or what do you think happened Friday?
Free throws are just mental. I think just being the first game and people being excited, and a lot of fans in the pavilion. I think it's just kind of an adjustment thing, and I'm not worried about our free throw shooting. We shoot pressure free throws every day. I know you can't simulate it game-like, but we try to, and guys hit free throws consistently every day. So I think that's something that we settle into and start to shoot a higher percentage as a team.
Yeah. So at halftime of this game, like I mentioned, we were 8 for 16 from free throw, but we were also down by 2 points. I know I talked to a couple of you guys after the game, just asking what it was like in the locker room during halftime, and you guys stressed to me that it was there was a lot of it was positive. AK was positive and everything, and I think it definitely showed in the second half, considering we beat this team 54-34 in the second half. Played fantastic defense. I attribute a lot of what their success to their first half success, losing to Lafayette, that is they were making a lot of tough shots, I think.
Yeah, they were definitely making tough shots, but the reason that we were optimistic going into halftime is because we knew how bad we'd played in the first half, and we're only down by 2. So when you go into halftime knowing that you didn't play anywhere close to your best and you're still in the game, you feel pretty good about yourself going in the second half. We didn't have – I don't think Dre had scored, if he had scored much in the first half. TD didn't have it going. Schuler had missed some shots. We just didn't have guys come out from the gate and do what they are capable of doing. So the second half we kind of settled into the game and pulled away at the end. So
yeah, Schuler only had 3 points at halftime, and the 2 turnovers he did have in this game were in the first half. So yeah, he definitely stepped up, and yeah, Dre had a big second half. A lot of Dre had a lot of ISO and one free throw or and one layups in the second half. So we out rebounded Louisiana Lafayette 48-40. Definitely think that number has got to get a little. I think we got to make that gap a little wider in these upcoming games. But from a bigger standpoint, this Louisiana Lafayette team was really good. You know, a lot of people have been saying it's a good team. When I talked to Dre in the first episode, they had a lot of big time transfers coming in from South Carolina and Southern Cal and Missouri. Jakeenan Gant, I remember watching him play at Missouri.
Yeah.
I knew I recognized him, and then when it finally clicked for me during the game. But yeah, I think this is a good team that we beat, and I was really really happy with what we got. Like you said about the first half thing, that's definitely something to be positive about, and I think that if we can put together two good halves, then we'll be all right. So the next game was this last Monday against Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky had beaten Rice in their first game, who will be in Vegas with us next week. Rice also lost to Georgia State, which we'll get into. Rice isn't looking very good. They're not looking very strong.
Right.
But before I get into our guys, I want to touch on this Nick Mayo kid. I remember Friday night after the game, hanging out with you guys, just talking. You guys were mentioning that AK said that this Mayo kid looked like a pro, that he probably was going to be a pro. And from his first game stat line, he had 25 and 12, and then in our game he had 19 and 10. So he definitely played like a pro. He was very efficient from the field, 7 for 9, only shot 1 3-pointer, and he made that 3-pointer. I was impressed with him. I thought he was really good. He had that one layup where he did that spin move, and that was a nice move. So I was impressed with him, but I really think you take him out of this game and we blow this team out. Really, I think he was the difference maker.
Yeah, he definitely was a difference maker. I mean, anytime you've got a big that can pass that well, I mean, they run a lot of they run all their sets through him and let him kind of play and make decisions for his team. And he's a great passing big. I mean, he scored it well. He was composed. He played slow. I mean, he's a great player, man. And I don't know what Eastern Kentucky will do in their league, but I would say they definitely feel good having him on their team and going into OVC play.
Yeah, no doubt. And then another guy that played really well for them in their first game and also had 19 points against us was Boyd, one of their guards. But from just a all-around game standpoint, they shot 50% from 3. I thought we defended well in this game. They also shot 51% from the field. Thought we defended well. I just think they were coached well, and I think they played. This is a good team. I feel like they played up to their potential.
They hit some tough shots. I mean, we guarded pretty well. They hit some tough shots. Anytime guys hit tough shots, start the game out, they get their flow, they get their confidence, a little momentum rolling. This is a game that got out to 18 points, and we could have easily took it to 25, but it came to 10. I mean, kind of the same story as Louisiana Lafayette. It was kind of closer, and then we pulled away at the end. But Eastern Kentucky, they played a solid game. Nick Mayo anchored them, and those guys really fed off him. And Boyd's a Tennessee kid, if I'm correct, and he had some family in the building, so I know he was wanting to play. And so overall, I mean, good win, but we're definitely not satisfied.
Yeah, and something I pointed out to a couple of students in the student section was our first game we won, basically by 20 points. And last year we played a UT Martin team that I think this Louisiana Lafayette team is far better than that UT Martin team we played last year. And we beat UT Martin by, 4 or 6?
Yeah.
And then we come out and win this game by 18 points. So I definitely think the talent is a lot, we're a lot more deeper, and the talent level is there this year. So, and then in our second game last year, it took us Sebastian Sai's tip-in to win the game this game. We were up by 18 with 4 minutes left, and Eastern Kentucky just wouldn't go away, but we were able to keep them, at arm distance. So let's get into the stats for the Rebels. We won this game 85-75. Basically led the whole game. It was an all-around good game, I thought. We shot the ball very well, 48% from the field, 45 from 3, 70% from free throw. So let me go ahead and start with Schuler again. Like I brought up in the beginning, double digits again for him. Didn't shoot as well from the field this game. I think just being excited from that first game and kind of still a little nervous maybe, I don't know, but if you take away his 4 misses from 3, he shoots 5 for 8. So I mean, he shot well from 2. Some of those threes maybe should have went in. Whatever, how that goes. But I thought he played a great game. I love his defense. I love watching him play defense. And Dre mentioned in the first episode that that's his favorite thing to do is play defense.
I mean, Sheeler. We know what Sheeler will bring nightly. I mean, he can score the ball. Defense is probably his best part of his game. Being disruptive. He's just got to pick his spots to when he wants to gamble or try to take people's ball. I think that's be the biggest difference for him from the high school level to Division I, and understanding what's a good shot and what's a bad shot for him. And I think he'll learn that as the season goes on. AK's letting him shoot. He lets all our guys shoot. If they can make it, he's going to let you shoot it. And sometimes the fans think that may be a questionable shot, but that's a shot that we see him make daily, and we want him to take again. So Sheeler with another good game and another impressive performance.
Yeah, I want to touch on that real quick before I talk about any of the other stats about AK, kind of giving the green light to a lot of these guys. And, going back to the whole Nick Mayo thing, I'm definitely impressed. I've noticed it from last year, too, from talking to you guys. AK's, and, I know Todd Abernathy helps out and other guys help out scouting these other teams. But one thing I've noticed is the scouting is has been really consistent. There's these guys y'all point out, and they say, okay, this guy's big time. This guy's the guy we need to look out for. And I see it, that it's scouted well. Whether, it's executed or not is a different story. But I do want to, just praise the coaching staff, and especially, you guys for pointing out who that guy is for each team, because you guys have consistently been able to, from what you guys tell me, that these guys that you guys are scouting are definitely big time guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so this game was a very important game historically. This got the Ole Miss basketball program over 500. They are now 1,283 and 1,282. This is the first time since 1959. I know this is a big deal for a lot of Ole Miss fans. It's a big deal for me. But this definitely shows how much AK has done for this program. And, I think it's just going to go up from here. But, yeah, anyway, so going back to the game, KG had another big game. He's a basket away from another double-double. 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and 8 points. You feel like KG brought the same energy from game 1 to game 2?
Definitely. I mean, 5 offensive rebounds. He was active. He was flying around, getting rebounds. He's all over the place. He makes his 2 free throws and he gets another double-double. He's come a long way at the free throw line, and we're definitely proud of him for that, and that he's got the confidence. He missed a couple there, but we're proud of what KG's done in the offseason, man, and I'm happy for him. It's all paying off.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to talk about Markel. Definitely shot the ball a lot better this game. 4 for 7 from the field, 10 points, 5 assists, and 2 rebounds. So I definitely saw a jump from the first game to this game just in scoring, and I think he was a little more aggressive with the basketball. But just like the first game, I thought he played fantastic team basketball, and that's what I love about Markel, is great team basketball player, and just from what I see, he's a very good supporter, and just really keeps the hopes up and everything. I think
Yeah, he's definitely a good teammate. 5 assists, that's great. He's going to play a little bit of point guard when Breein Tyree goes out, along with Dre. But overall, we got what we expected out of Markel, and good performance from him, and we hope that he keeps it up.
Yeah, and then Breein Tyree, of course, point guard, played 25 minutes this game, scored the opening basket of the game, went 3 for 8, 5 assists, 7 points, good stat line. Thought he played, great basketball. Only had didn't have a single turnover, so that's definitely great when your starting point guard doesn't turn the ball over. And then I want to touch on 2 other guys real quick. DeAndre Burnett came off the bench again, went 80% from 3. That's fantastic, obviously. 5 for 6 from free throw. We've come to expect that from him. 4 for 8 from the field. What did you see from Dre in this game that really stood out to you?
I really like how he's picking his spots. He shoots the ball well. He's kind of letting the game come to him as he's coming off the bench. I I just love how Dre's kind of matured and more composed this year and looks more comfortable out there on the floor. And I think we'll see this time and time again throughout the year. So another good performance by Dre, and like I said, I hope he keeps shooting it that hot.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's gonna definitely be consistent this year. And he told us last week that he wants to get his percentages up, and I know he's talked to you about that. And I definitely think with the way he's playing, he's definitely on track to do that.
And a lot of percentages are the shots that you take. You know what I mean? Eliminating more tough shots, taking more open shots. So him being more efficient, I think, is a reflection of us having more depth and more guys and trusting each other and one more pass, getting a guy an open shot. You know what I mean? Instead of taking more tough shots, we're kind of making the right play and getting other guys involved.
Yeah, no doubt. And then the last guy I want to talk about in depth, I'll go over a few of the other guys too, but TD again. 6 for 12 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3. 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 16 points. Brought it again. I mean, still just making his claim for why he got voted preseason All-SEC and why a lot of people have him on draft boards and stuff. He's definitely, he's fun to watch. Him and, man, if we could just put him and Schuler in a vault and just keep them for, the rest of the program, they'd just be so much fun to watch. But tell me, how much fun it is to see. I know TD goes off in practice all the time, but just to see how the work from practice is just carrying over for TD, and just I know it's fun for you guys on the bench. Just talk to me about how enjoyable it is to see such an athletic guy play.
I kind of expect that from TD. Seeing it daily and seeing it last year in big games, I expect that from TD, and he expects it from himself. I mean, that's his role on the team. I think that TD settled a little bit in this game, and once he stopped settling, started getting to the rim, got a couple easy ones, and got himself going, you know what I mean? And I think that's what we need from TD. He needs to, he's one of the best finishers, if not the best in the SEC, and he's great in transition. So we like to see him get out on the open floor and make plays for us and really see that athleticism.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best players, I think, in the NCAA at getting to the rim, and just a lot of fun to watch. A few of the other guys that I didn't really touch on. Bruce went 1 for 4, but he went 3 for 4 from free throw, had 4 rebounds. Good game for Bruce. Eustace only took 1 shot, made that shot, but got to the free throw line, made all of his free throws, 4 points, 2 rebounds, a lot of energy. Just like you mentioned before, he's going to do stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. We know that.
Yeah.
And then Dom went 3 for 5 from the field, had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. 1 steal for a big man. That's nice to see. So all in all, I think it was a great performance by this team. Looking at the overall stats, we won the rebounding battle 33-30. I know that's kind of low, but I'm not really too worried about that because both teams were knocking down shots. What do you do you agree with that? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they shot the ball pretty well. We shot it decent. So less rebounds, obviously, if you're making more shots, but. I think we need, like you were saying in the last one, we need to be more than +3 on a team that's smaller than us. Nick Mayo grabbed 10 rebounds outside that. I don't know who else really rebounded for them that well, but
Charles, another forward.
Yeah, another forward, but
yeah.
We need I think I've heard multiple people talk about it, but we need Markel to grab 5 or 6 rebounds. Last game he grabbed 9. This one he grabbed 2. We need him to be kind of consistent on the boards. TD had 6. That's pretty solid. If we can get 5, 6 out of TD and Markel, our rebounding total goes up. But KG rebounded the ball well as expected, so I think we'll lengthen that space out a little bit as the season goes on.
Yeah, for sure. And we cut down turnovers in this game too. Had 14 in the first game, 8 in this game. Thought we played, a lot smarter. Granted, a couple of those turnovers in that first game came from some offensive fouls and then travels and, just kind of some silly mistakes. AK was talking about Dre in the post-game conference of this game and said that, just talking about how his turnovers have gotten a lot better from this year to last year. And then, in this game he had that 1 turnover at the end of the game. But, besides that, we didn't really have any, plays that were just kind of like, kind of shaking your head at turnover-wise. So
right.
I think that just shows with the maturity of this team, man, just, a lot of great, in my opinion, great coaching and just a lot of great talent on this team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime in basketball, you've got to value the ball. Valuing the ball, I mean, taking care of the ball, not trying to make the home run play, taking good shots, and just being a smart basketball player. I think we valued the ball better this game, and it showed in the stat sheet.
Yeah, no doubt. A few things that I want to touch on before we take a quick little break. So in the first game, we broke the largest season opening crowd in the past 20 years, which is big time. I want to talk to you about, you're on the court, on the sidelines, so you get a different feel than I do being in the stands. What was it like in that first game, just the crowd energy and everything feeding off of that? Just talk to me about how this team reacted to it and how you felt that the pavilion was Friday night.
It was a great atmosphere. I mean, shout out to all the fans and everybody that came to the game. Like you said, the most what did you say, the highest
largest
crowd?
season opening crowd in 20 years.
So. Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, I definitely was not expecting that, but Louisiana Lafayette was also playing football the next day, so they brought a couple. But I was excited, man. I mean, anytime we've got that many people in an opening game, it means other people are excited too. So if we keep getting that kind of crowd, I mean, our guys will always feed off of that and have better energy when we've got the pavilion packed.
Yeah, and then I think the student crowd definitely carried over in that second game. Students came out. I know
they got a technical for us first game.
Yep, I know. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So, Allen Iverson's ugly twin brother, Russell, I think his last name was. Nah, I'm off that with him. But yeah, we were definitely loud, I think. But we were talking to him. We knew he was a freshman. We knew we could kind of mess with a few of those guys, and
that was a momentum swing, man. He hit 5 for 6 threes, and he turns around talking to the crowd and gets teed up. And I think the game was within single digits, and then we get 2 free throws and get the ball back, and that's a momentum swing. So, freshman mistake on his part. He had a great game other than that, but yeah, it definitely was a swing in the game.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun when the other team starts to get in it with us. But yeah, and then like I said, the student crowd kind of carried over into that second game. A lot of students came out. For the students that are listening, thank you for coming. Especially somebody who helps out so much with Club Red. Like it's awesome to see you guys come out. It makes me look good. It makes the rest of us that work for Club Red look good. So keep coming. I promise you, this basketball team is going to keep putting a good product out there. So, one thing I want to touch on real quick from the Eastern Kentucky game before we go to break is it's not really a basketball thing, but got a few new games up on the scoreboard. I don't know how much you're able to pay attention to that, being in the huddle and listening to AK coach you guys up. But I just want to talk about, we got a game that really stood out. I thought that was funny to me was Yes or No with Markel Crawford is who it's with this year. And it's a simple, do you think Markel Crawford is going to say yes or no? And the fan says, obviously, yes or no. And it's just interesting because it's like, Markel gets up on the board and he's like, yeah, nah, yeah, nah, yeah. And it's just, interesting. Last year we had Moser Minos with Sebastian Saiz, one of the greatest games I think could ever be played. Sink or Float with Eustace Vermanovicis last year was a fan favorite. But this year the games are looking a little rough. But I will say in the first game we had a good one with Mr. Burnett, trying to spell Mouse's last name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that one. I'm not able to always see that or pay attention to it, but it's definitely good for the crowd. I did see the one about Dre trying to spell Ilya's name, and I'm not sure that anybody in the pavilion could have spelled it that night. So
for sure. We're going to take a quick break real quick. When we get back, we're going to preview this game that will be tomorrow when this podcast comes out, but Friday, November 17th against the Georgia State Panthers. Should be a good one. They put a guy in the league, RJ Hunter. I know you're familiar with him. So yeah, should be a good game, but we'll be back and we'll preview that. So stay tuned. Hope you guys are enjoying this episode with Lane Ballou. We are at our first break, and I will be sampling Devin's music again this break, so I hope you enjoy it. And shout out to the women's basketball team who is 2-0 on the season. Keep it up, girls. All right, we're back. We're going to preview this Georgia State game. Right now I got their stats pulled up right now, just looking at their first game. They played Carver Bible College. Who are they, right? Yeah. But just standouts from that game. Simons, their guard. I know he's good. Mitchell, and then I guess that's Ben Livy. They all played 28 to 30 minutes. So those are guys that I think probably big time. But let's get to their next game against Rice. The guys that stood out in that game again were Simons. He didn't shoot very well from the field though, but he had 14 points, shot 4 for 5 from free throw. And then Thomas, a forward, 29 minutes, 7 for 15 from the field at 18 points. So just looks like a lot of their guys got to play this game too because it was, kind of a blowout. But you guys, I know, I'm sure, have been studying up on these guys. What have you seen from them that could pose a threat and, some big-time guys from them?
They've got a lot of shooters, for one. They've got a lot of freedom on offense. He kind of just lets them play and go make plays. Simons, is an SEC guy. He was committed to Mississippi State, and Rick Ray gets fired, and then he goes to Georgia State. I think he's a Georgia kid. They've got another kid on their team. I can't remember his name, but he was committed to Alabama or something and then backed out. But they've got some talented guys on their team anyway, and they have a lot of shooters and guys who are capable to fill it up. So, and also they play a scheme defense kind of. They play a matchup 2-3 zone. They're going to play it for 40 minutes, and it's kind of they just kind of guard who's in their area, pointing. They trap out of certain situations. So, kind of just a scheme defense, and it kind of throws some teams off. So, keys for us, man, we're just going to have to attack them and not settle for bad shots, quick shots. We're going to have to put some pressure on the rim and make those guys guard.
Yeah, I'd just those first two games. Rice is a team that'll be out there in Vegas with us next week, but Georgia Carver Bible School or whatever, I don't know why that was their first game. Why could they just couldn't schedule that as an exhibition? But just because the teams they played so far are fairly weak, they've only allowed 52 points a game. So I definitely think this will be a change in pace for them, especially with the up tempo that I think we can play, and we put up a lot of points. They putting up 83 points against those two teams. So I think that if we play well defensively, we can hold these guys to about what we've been holding teams to, 75.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see them play. Being from Georgia, I talked about it last week. Georgia State hasn't really been a big, team football-wise in the state of Georgia because they kind of just got their program up and going. But basketball, these last about 5 years, they've been good. I mean, they beat Baylor one year in the tournament, right? If I remember
they had
correctly.
a little Cinderella run. I remember that guy, the R.J. Hunter, and his dad was a coach, and his dad tore his Achilles, something coaching, and he's riding a little scooter around in the NCAA tournament. So
Yep.
the magical scooter, I guess. They made a little Cinderella run, but no, these guys, this will be a good game for us, a good test for us. Hopefully we got a good crowd in the pavilion Friday, with a big football game Saturday. So I'm excited to see what we do, and we always get a little battle tested and see what happens. So
Yeah, I think this will be a team that will definitely compete with us. I think it is a winnable game. Obviously, I think we will win. We got to play very well. Do you know if the R.J. Hunter's dad still coaches them or not?
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost 90% positive I seen him on film today. But
Yeah. And then the Simons kid, I just want to talk about him real quick. He leads them in all their categories right now, like I touched on already. They haven't played two great teams, but still, 17 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, and 9 assists a game. That's still big time no matter what.
yeah,
I'm excited to see this guy play.
he's definitely their anchor. He's a capable shooter, but he's more of a driver. He's got good tempo to his game. Just by watching film, it looks like he's got a good feel for the game, good IQ. So he will definitely be a guy that we need to contain and try to limit his effectiveness on the game. And so yeah, he'll definitely be a good player for them. And we need to limit him.
Yeah. What about their size? Are they big? What have you seen from them?
They're not super big. They played 4 guards on most of the sets that I saw, so they were smaller. They got some athletic guys, and they're gonna try to just crack you off the bounce and run some screens, some cross screen, down screens, some flat screens, just different things that we've been going over. But overall, we need to come out and do what we do and take care of business.
Yeah, I definitely think that we can beat these guys. I'm with the way we played these first two games, balanced scoring and everything, I think we'll be all right. But yeah, that's the reason I was asking about the size thing is when we were looking at the stats from their previous two games. I mean, the guards were leading them in rebounding. So.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that just shows athleticism, too, so.
I think they'll definitely be a force in their league just by watching a little film while I'm watching some game tape. They'll definitely do well in their league with the guys they got. I don't know for sure. I know when we were watching Scout, they had 4 or 5 guys that were able that could fill it up from 3, so that'll pose a little threat to us. We'll need to defend that 3 and make them score over us inside.
Yeah, no doubt. So, yeah, that game is at 6 o'clock Friday night. Anybody in the close Oxford area, if you can make it out, do it. You won't want to miss it. There's tickets available for $2, so there's no excuse. It's cheap, and it's going to be fun, so definitely come. Students, I expect y'all to be there. We don't have to anything to do it Friday night at 6 because the square is open till 1, so I don't want to hear any excuses about that. And then our game's not till 6 o'clock the next day against A&M, so there's definitely no excuse for that.
And somebody had said if we score over 125 points, that's free corn dogs for everybody.
Who said that?
I'm not sure. I think it was Jackie Moon. I can't remember.
That's the Lane Blue right there. You know, always got to crack a joke. But yeah, so let's talk to Lane about Las Vegas real quick. So I talked about it a little bit with DeAndre last week, but yeah, the Rebels are gonna go out to Vegas. Last year, about around this time, they took their trip to the Virgin Islands. Almost came out of there with a championship. Should have beat Creighton, in my opinion. That's a different story. That's the past. Not going to talk about that. But what's the mood for this Vegas trip, you think, Lane, going out, in a different time zone, and especially the city that we're going to. I know there's going to be a lot of distractions. I'm not worried about that with you guys, though. I know we're focused and we want to win this thing and bring it back to Oxford. So just talk to me about the excitement and everything.
I mean, it's exciting, especially for me. I know that a couple of us had never been to Vegas, so we're excited to get out there and see that scenery. But, as always, it's a business trip and a chance for us to take a couple steps closer to getting national recognition. We get these couple wins, take care of business Friday, go out to Vegas, grab a couple, and then, we play some real teams that they could get us nationally recognized. Virginia Tech, Middle Tennessee is always a tough mid-major, especially. It'll be a tough game on the road. They play that 1-3-1, but we'll have a chance to take care of business and get some national recognition. So I think everybody's excited for that, and hopefully we take advantage of our opportunities.
Yeah. So the first team that we do play is Utah. Lane was telling me during our break that they haven't really gotten to look too much into them yet. So the plan is. The team flies out to Vegas Saturday. I get out there Sunday. Lane and I are going to try to meet up Sunday, get a little preview for you guys. Quick little something I can put out there, just something for the fans. You know how I do. But yeah, no, I'm excited. My boy here is a Lakers fan, so I know me and him can both say that we're happy for the same reasons and different reasons that Kyle Kuzma's not there anymore. Because one, he's a tough person to guard, and two, he's definitely making a big impact. But people out there that are listening, share this podcast, because the more listens I get and the views I get, I can start doing other podcasts, and we could have my man over here on to rant about how he doesn't like Lonzo Ball, and you definitely want to hear that. So, no, but I'm excited. I've never been out to Vegas, been to California. Have you ever been out to Vegas, Lane?
I've never been out west, really. I mean, I've been to a couple places in the Caribbean for vacation, and last year for that tournament in Virgin Islands, but I've never really been out that way. We went to New York, which is the opposite way, and a couple different places like that, but never been out west, so I'm excited to get out there and see what it's about. I know Eric Warren's excited to get back out there west and live life.
Yep, Bay Area, baby. Before I get into the questions that some of you guys tweeted to me and Facebook to me, I do want to give a quick shout out to Lane's fiance, Hannah No. She had her first game Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday.
At Evansville, and she had 33 points?
Yep, 33. She hit 6 threes, 9 free throws maybe, I don't know. But she had a good opening game, and they had a good win over Murray State, which is I'm not really sure what they were doing scouting wise. You know, she's played him 4 years now, and they don't know that she's a shooter. So
Yeah.
it's kind of shocking. But
I mean,
I'm glad she had a good first game, and hopefully she'll have a good season.
That sounds like me. Just nobody can clamp her. That's what it
Right.
sounds like to me.
You know,
She's a problem out there.
she's definitely in a good position and playing high minutes, and I hope that just continues to carry over for her, and hope the best for her and her teammates.
Yeah, I definitely just, like I said, wanted to give her some recognition. It's always good to see, you know, people that, you know, I care about and that my friends care about, and, you know, people close to me do well. So, Hannah, congratulations. Keep it up. And I need you to get 9 more points because right now Dre's got that career high 41. I need you to get more than Dre. But no, keep it up. I'm proud of you. I know Lane's proud of you, and I know your family's proud of you. So keep up the good work. So yeah, let me get to. We had one Facebook question from somebody that I know Lane knows, Mr. Randy Morgan. I don't know if you saw what he asked, but the question is: would you rather fight 10 Brian Tyree sized Doms or 1 Dom sized Bree? And Sam Mooney, who is an Oxford, what's the word I'm looking for? He's famous here in Oxford.
Yeah.
He's a musician. He puts out some good music. So if you guys ever want to hear some good music, check out my boy Sam Mooney. But anyway, yeah. So what's your answer to Randy's question? And before you do answer it, I just want you guys to know Lane doesn't back down from anybody, so this should be a good answer.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I was roommates with Dom last year and slammed him multiple times wrestling, so I'm not worried about him. Bree and I are roommates this year, and to be honest, I'm not really worried about him either. So, but to answer, I would probably, I mean, obviously you'd have to take the 1 guy over 10. I mean, 10's a little bit too much for me, but I think I could handle one of them.
And just to branch off of Randy's question real quick, just to have some fun, who, besides yourself, of course, who do you think's the strongest on the team?
I wouldn't want to see KG in a dark alley, I'll say that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. All right, so let me get to these Twitter questions real quick. Brooke, who's a teammate of Hannah's, gave us 2 of them. Is her last name Dossett? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, to be honest.
So let's get to the first one. She said, is it true that your fiance beat you in a 3-point shooting contest?
She probably has, to be honest. I mean, she has been a good shooter. I'm not really as good of a shooter as her, so congrats to her. I don't remember. That might have been a dream. I'm not really sure.
And then the last one is, how do you prefer to eat your chicken wings off the bone? Now, I'm giving an exception to this because I have met Brooke and she is a nice person, so I'm giving her a pass on this one. These are supposed to be basketball questions, but what's your answer to that one?
Well, you know, we chef it up over at 5207, so chicken wings are our main entree, and we don't waste any meat, so we clean those bones.
Right, and that dirty rice, too. Can't forget about the dirty rice, right?
Can't forget about it. DeAndre Burnett special.
Yeah, so, and then one thing I want to ask you, Lane, before we kind of get up on out of here, what do you think this Rebels team is capable of this year, just especially after seeing how we played these first 2 games and everything? What do you think this team's capable of?
Man, I think the only thing that's going to hold the Rebels back is the Rebels. So, I mean, I think we can go as far as we want to go. We've got the talent, we've got the depth, we've got the maturity. I think it's just a matter of time and putting it all together. You know, we're trying different lineups, different rotations, mismatching guys, and so that'll always take some time and a little transition. But I'm excited, man. I'm a lot more excited and feeling a lot better about this team than I was, to be honest, last year. So I hope that we continue to take care of business and we'll be where we want to be in March.
And then one question for me real quick. Besides anyone on our team, what's one guy in the SEC that you looking forward to see us play and that you're looking forward to see play this season and especially in conference play?
There's a lot of hype around Colin Sexton. I've watched a little tape on him. Don't know a lot about him, but a lot of people say he's a dog that never stops coming. So I'm excited to see what he's about. You know, I think this is the deepest the SEC's been since I've been paying attention to it. Anyway, I mean, I think that we can have 6 or 7 teams in the tournament come March. So, I mean, we'll be seeing a tough matchup nightly, and also another guy. You know, I get about 5 texts a day from people from Missouri talking about Michael Porter and Mizzou. So
yep,
he's a great player. Shout out to him. But I hope we take care of him and he can be held scoreless for all I care.
Yeah, I watched Colin play a little bit last night when I had the chance, and he had a good game last night against Lipscomb.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. He brings a lot of intensity and a lot of energy, so I hope he's ready for Club Red to be in his ear for 40 minutes. So
Right. I don't know if he's ready for all that.
But yeah, that'll about do it for the second episode of the Ole Miss Hoops podcast. Great episode tonight. I've been excited to have Lane on ever since I really decided to do this. Lane's one of my favorite people just to talk about basketball with. His insight is phenomenal, and he hopes to be a coach one day. So I'm sure after you guys hear what he had to say here, you're gonna definitely see that he's probably on the right path to that. But just want to thank him again. Can't wait to get out to Vegas. And Lane, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
LBlue24. JP, I just want to say thanks for having me on, man, and let's go get jiggy in Vegas.
Sounds good, my man.